Good morning, welcome to Mystic World Wellness, or afternoon and evening whenever you're watching this. Today we're going to do a reading for the Tree of Life Oracle cards by David Wells. So the cards are the 32nd path, the world, universe, independent, facing fears, self-discipline. And then the second card is 29th path, the moon, evolution, simplicity, the animal kingdom. And then the third card that I pulled is path, the wheel of fortune, fortune, quest, abundance. So I feel like this card, it's saying like overcoming fears, both past and present, overcoming like a lot of negative emotions. You can see this person like here's kind of like radiate like against some light, like lightness. She's light compared to the rest, so is this person. The rest of it is like in a dark cave or some other dark room. And just the way they're highlighted in the light, like, and the rest of it is dark, like it's showing like to me, like kind of reminds me of some dark emotions, like facing and overcoming your fears, overcoming other negative emotions, related and not related. To like all aspects of life, you know, work, school, play, just everything, personal, professional, etc. It's like overcoming like blocks, fears, beliefs that no longer serve you, like you're either in the process or have, and now it's time to come of it. It's also about self-discipline, and again, I feel like that's a major part of it, like the discipline to get into a routine, perhaps drop some bad habits, and that requires a lot of self-discipline actually, to drop a lot of bad habits and make it so that they're much better, so that you can become a better version of yourself. For me, I'm not sure anyone actually changes. It's more like when we become better or seemingly change, it's that you shift into a different version of yourself. Because I feel like rarely does anyone actually like do anything completely against themselves, or that's when like the negative habits form, is like when you're forced to go against stuff that doesn't resonate with your soul and your, you know, what you feel your purpose is and all that. When you're forced into a position like through life circumstances, I mean, no one actually puts a gun to rarely is a gun put to our head and we're actually forced, but circumstances are more negative emotions, are more negative impulses, can force us to do things, or like the necessities of living, like getting a job that doesn't really fit with what you want to do with your life or your soul, like really, that resonates with your soul. That can be because we just need that income, we need that money to survive and get on our feet, and then we can end up stuck quite a bit longer than we want, especially if we fall into bad and negative habits and thought patterns about it. So it's like, this is about overcoming. And as I said, I don't feel we actually change. We just either gravitate either towards the letting the worst part of ourselves out, the best part, or somewhere in the middle. And when we actually change, it's us maybe stripping away any bad habits or falling into those bad habits or thought patterns and emotions and letting those control us versus shifting to more positive habits, more positive thought patterns, or being somewhere in the middle. I feel that's the thing, we're never actually necessarily, yes, we're changing our habits, but we're not actually changing us as a person. We're just leaning more towards this part of my personality versus that part of my personality, or this part of myself versus our part, because a lot of everyone has their good and bad parts of ourselves, or maybe not bad is the right word, but the more negative, the more thing. And when we're not in tune as much with ourselves and our soul and our intuition and everything, we can lean more towards stuff that isn't so good for us. So when people say we're changing for the better, I feel what we may be changing is our actions and our thought patterns, but not actually our core selves. We're just kind of changing our clothes, to use a metaphor I heard in a book. We change our clothes, or that more outward parts of ourselves, our soul and our core does not change, but the way we present ourselves does. And I know that was a long explanation, but I feel that was needed to be said. But that's my belief, is that our core selves does not change, just our more outward expression does change. We can change our habits, we can change our belief, our thought patterns, but not our core selves. But I feel everyone's core self is actually the best version of themselves. So when I say our core or our soul selves, our higher selves, to use a more spiritual term, is always going to be the best version of ourselves. So it's the one that has the most light, the most love, the most, is the best version. So it's not saying someone who has a lot of bad habits, has a bad attitude, can't become someone who, has a good habits, has a good attitude. They can. They just gotta tap into that better version of themselves. It's a slow process, so I will admit that. Or it's not always a slow process, but it can be a slow process. Sometimes if you get the right revelation at the right time, it can literally be life-changing, and a person can change seemingly in a snap of a fingers. But I feel that's such a rare thing. The rest of us, it takes a while to change. Not necessarily years, but definitely a good number of months to at least a year. But yeah, so just anyone who's watching this is more on that, you can change. You can change for the better. You can change for the better. Just remember, your core self, it has that light within you. You just gotta find that light within you and let that lead you. That you gotta find your higher self and let that lead you to become a better version of yourself. So yeah, I'm a big believer people can change their like outlook. Like I said, it's more like we're changing clothes versus, because it's our core self that has the best parts of ourselves. It's tapping into that and changing everything else. Like you change from the inside out, and that's why. So, but yeah, I feel like it's like becoming a better version of yourself by facing your fears, because our fears are things like that can weigh you down a lot and stop you from actually living the life the way you want to, the way you're meant to. And it's finding that inner strength, that self-discipline to get out of that place and into a brighter, better version of both yourself and your life, outward life. Because by changing yourself from the inside out, you're bringing yourself to a point where you're more ready and able to change your circumstances. You got to find that strength within first before you can change your outward circumstances. It's a lot of work. It's hard work. I know I'm currently there. Like, I'm in the process of evolving. But that's another thing. I feel like we never actually stop evolving. We never actually, it's an ongoing process. There's always a way to improve. You can get in touch with your inner self, but so the moon, the 29th path, the moon, evolution, simplicity, the animal kingdom. I think in some ways I already covered this with this card. I probably got a bit of ahead of myself because all the cards are that. But because I mentioned like the evolution in that with this card, I feel like these two cards definitely, like, this is like, maybe being in the process. This is like reaching, not necessarily the end point, but like reaching a major step, a major goal in that process, like, or maybe you feel like you reached your final goal that you currently had. And I didn't notice, but yeah. So yeah. Like you've gained a lot of wisdom, and you're ready to go to the next step. You're ready to create, or you've created the next goal you want to go for. Like, you've reached a major milestone. And I don't know why, but this keeps looking like, from a bit of a distance, this looks like eyes and nose of some kind of animal. I don't know why, but yeah, the wisdom, but now it's like time for celebration. Before, enjoy, just think back and think of all the work you've already done and enjoy, and maybe savor the moment. Maybe you've reached a major milestone in your goal, or taken a major step, a major leap, but it's savor that, assimilate that, just take a little bit of a break before focusing on working towards the next milestone. Enjoy it, let it sink in, let all that, everything you've learned, everything you've gained, let that sink in. Let it assimilate it into your life. Figure out how you want to use everything going forward. But yeah, you've evolved. Now it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor for a bit before going to the next one. And as you continue to evolve, this one is the Wheel of Fortune, Fortune, Quest, and Abundance. 21st path. I feel like this is like all three of these, like, of course, tied together. They were all drawn in the same reading. But this is like, now that you've done, or as you continue to do the work and continue to evolve, you're going to start seeing more fruits of your labor. You're going to start getting that abundance. Things are going to start changing for the better in your life. Circumstances are going to start aligning for you to get the life that you want, or you still have to do the work, but the universe and people have acknowledged the work you've done and is starting to give you the rewards, the abundance, the stuff. And yes, you still have to do, or should continue doing the work, as we all should, because growth and evolution, I feel like, should never really stop within our life. We always have more lessons to learn, more life to live, just more growth to achieve. Rarely do we ever learn it all. Do we ever? Even like if we study the subject for years, there's like usually more and more discoveries, more and more interpretations, or just new things coming out. Like, to take photography for example, you can learn like I doubt you could ever completely learn all the cameras in the world, but you can learn as many as you want. You can learn as many techniques, but there's always going to be more as technology evolves. There's always going to be more. Plus, like, depending on what type of photography, is it nature, is it that, you could always move from doing like nature photography to wedding photography, or to taking pictures of architecture versus, you know, like nature. And that's a whole, I feel like they're all completely different ball games, like, because different lighting reflects differently after. Photography is a bit of a hobby of mine. I've never really learned the technical terms, but this is what I imagine it's like, because like things do reflect, like surfaces do reflect differently. It's learning how to get the best picture, eyeing it kind of, but my point is there's always more to do. So like, keep that wonder. Like, I also feel that also is what like this card also is about. Like, keep that wonder, keep exploring, keep evolving, keep growing. Yes, enjoy what you've done so far and continue to enjoy it. I feel like also enjoying and learning to like love what you do, that's going to bring you a lot of abundance and fortune in the future. Continue the growth. I feel like this is like, you know, a lot of it has been like, I feel like a lot of this has been about like a lot of inner work, not necessarily like more, but I feel like once you do a lot of the inner work, or if you've done a lot of the inner work, then like you'll start seeing the results on the outside. Like, new opportunities will open up, new chances for abundance. Maybe if you're looking for a new job, you might find a new one, or if you're looking for a promotion. Like, as you change and evolve and grow, so like, will your performance for like school, work, any professional, maybe in your hobbies, like interchange will usually be reflected in some form in your outside life, maybe even relationships, and as you evolve your inner life, your outer life will also evolve, and how it evolves depends on whether you take this to the positive or the negative. If you're more if you're evolving for the positive, I feel like abundance and success and just like the wheel of fortune will be yours. Like you will find that fortune you're looking for in whatever section of life you're like focusing on, that you wanted this reading, that this reading was about for you. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I will have more content. Also, I also am offering private readings online. We could do it over Zoom, Facebook, or I could just send you a recording. If you would like something like that, please leave a comment and we'll talk. And that I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry for the abrupt ending. I'm still learning how to make YouTube videos. Anyway, I hope everyone has a great day. I hope this helped.